Okay, so let me give a quick introduction. I am Shashwat Joshi, and currently I'm in my final year. So I'm working as a trainee analyst at Wyson Technologies right now, and previously I worked as a Flutter developer at Nearcast. So it is a startup in Silicon Valley. Now, I would like to share whatever I've learned in the past 4 years. So first we'll discuss about Flutter, and then if you guys have any questions, so it doesn't have to be regarding Flutter. If you have any general questions regarding a BTech or anything like that, so you can ask those questions as well. So we'll discuss a lot of things, and I'll start to share my screen, and we'll walk through that. Okay. So temporarily I'll be closing my camera because of some latency issues. I also have to show a few things, so I'll just have to close my laptop. Okay. So let me just share my screen. Okay, so we are going to discuss everything about Flutter today. Any kind of basics that I can, any knowledge that I have regarding Flutters that you should know about. We'll not be doing the practical part today because it's a very vast topic. So practicals will be like if you guys want, we can have a different session regarding practicals. But today we'll just talk about what Flutter is and why it is created basically. Okay, so I love to talk about the why part, like why anything exists. So that is very important. If you guys are learning anything new, you have to always question yourself that why was this thing created. If you do that, you will go to great heights. It's very important in the tech world. Okay. So let us discuss about the agenda. We are going to discuss that how is Flutter platform independent. So if you don't know what platform independence is, no worries. We'll talk about it in the next section. We'll discuss about the use case of Flutter. So why Flutter was created, how it is different from native app development. Okay. And then we are going to discuss which one is right for you, because it's not like if Flutter came into existence then a native won't work. These both things are existing, right? So we'll see that which one is right for you. Then we'll see a few production apps in Flutter. So the apps which you guys are using, which millions of people are using right now. Okay. You'll be shocked to see that a very familiar application is written in Flutter. I'll just keep it as a suspense as of now. Okay. We'll have a roadmap also. So like if you guys are interested in Flutter, how you should proceed. Okay. And at the end we'll have a Q&A. So you guys are like, there are somewhat around 11 people, and there is core team, and I'm also there. So just be interactive and ask questions if you have at any point of time. Okay. So let us get started with this introductory session on Flutter. So first of all, we'll see that how is Flutter platform independent. So we need to discuss what exactly platform independence means. So if you look at the traditional way applications are developed, applications for desktop are developed using C sharp. Okay, so there are many ways of developing desktop applications. I'm just taking the example of C sharp. So one way is C sharp, and if you go to iOS, we have this language known as Swift. So to build iOS applications, you have to develop using Swift. For Android, we have Java and Kotlin. So this is native app development. It means that you are using a particular language or a framework to develop applications for a particular platform. So one language for one platform. So this is called as native app development. Okay. I'm just giving a gist of that. It is quite a lot. So if you guys are interested, you can always go to Google and search more about it. So this basically is native app development. And if we talk about Flutter, what Flutter does is, how it achieves platform independence is like this. So you just have to write code once, right? So if you're writing some Flutter code, what will happen is it will run on all the machines. So it will run on iOS, it will run on Android, it will also run on desktop. Now we also have some more supports. We have support for web, so Flutter web is there, and we have support for embedded systems. So if you guys know about embedded systems, it is for that as well. So this is the title, like single code base, multiple platforms. So you just have to write code once and it will run on every platform. Isn't that cool? Just think about it. How much time it will save? right? Do you see the use case a bit, like how and why this thing was created? Comment in the chat box, guys. I want to interact with you guys, okay? Otherwise it will be really boring. No one? Are you guys not commenting? Am I audible? The core team, can you just
Yeah,
confirm?
you are audible.
Okay, okay. So you are not very interactive, guys. This is wrong. You should interact, okay? Otherwise, there is no point of a live session. You guys can just watch how to learn or watch what Flutter is on YouTube as well, right? My question is that do you understand, like till now, whatever I've taught, did you get an idea of why Flutter was created? Okay, okay, cool. So see, this is a very powerful technology, right? You just have to write code once, and it is going to run on every platform. Isn't that amazing? It's really amazing. When I first heard about it, my mind was like, blown. I was like, "Okay, this is so powerful." So if you are into startups, I was so from the very beginning of my BTech, I was very interested to create something of my own. So if you guys are interested in that type of thing, so in startups you just have to create applications quickly, right? You can't spend so much money and time in creating applications for like every single platform. So you don't have the time to create applications for every single platform and to afford different kind of developers, right? With Flutter, what you can do is you can just hire a Flutter developer and he'll write the code. It will work on every machine. So it is very popular in the startup world. So if you go out and search for the Flutter jobs, you'll get jobs in startups a lot. So it's not quite used in the main industry right now. People are adapting to it quite quickly, but in the startup world it is more popular. So if you guys have any hackathons or if you want to create some solution, something of your own, I'll prefer Flutter for that because it is much more faster to develop applications in Flutter than native. So that is my personal experience. And yeah, so let me just explain once that how the Flutter engine works. So how Flutter does this thing, how it is platform independent, right? So I'll just share a bit of internals, like how it exactly works. Just give me a minute. I'm connecting my whiteboard. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, yeah. So what happens is when you write code in Flutter. Okay, so I have my code in Flutter. So there is this thing known as Flutter engine. Okay, so you can just consider it as a box right now. If you want the technical details, you can always Google. It is an introductory session, so I'll give you an overall idea of what happens behind the scenes. Now this is your Flutter engine, okay? And what it will do is this is the code written by people at Google. So Flutter is this framework written by Google, okay? So Google devs have written this Flutter engine. Whenever you write, so this code directly doesn't run on your application on your devices, like not on iOS, on Android. It doesn't directly run. So what happens is we compile our code. So it goes through the Flutter engine, and then it is converted into native code. Okay. So we discussed about the native code earlier. So what Flutter engine does is it takes this Flutter code, it takes this code base, and it will convert it into the specific native code. Okay. So like for iOS, it will convert it into Swift. For Android, it will convert it into a Java code. For web applications, it will SSN JS file. Okay. HTML, CSS, and JS. So this is what happens for web. And similarly, for all the platforms, it will create a native code. So this is what happens. So it is not exactly like platform independent. So it is just like that you're writing a single code base, you are maintaining this code base. So your developers will work on this code, okay? They will not directly be working on the native code, maintaining this particular code.
So now you have a single code base, and from that code base, you can create applications for so many different platforms. So this is how Flutter works behind the scene, and there are a lot of technical details as well. So I'll just recommend you guys to go to this flutter.dev website. Okay, so there is this website as flutter.dev. Just a second. Okay, flutter.dev. So this is the official website for Flutter, and here you will find the documentation as well. So it is.
Just go ahead and see what all is present over here.
Okay, so
The docs are over here.
if you want to understand how it exactly works, you can just go and read the docs. I'll be sharing these links in a Notion file at the end of the session, so you guys can check it out. Okay. Okay, so now we'll move towards the next thing, which is the use case. Native, that is native versus Flutter. Is native and Flutter clear to you guys? Like what native development is and what Flutter is? Okay. I've only got one response. Like, guys, come on.
So you understood what it is, right?
Now,
It will be easier for you to
understand why native or why Flutter. So I'm not against native, or if I'm a Flutter developer, I'm not against native technologies. As an engineer, you should not prefer any technology. Okay, so when you go to the industry, you will not stick to one technology. So if I share my current experience, the place where I'm working at, they're teaching me everything. I never learned Java in my life, but in the past 1 month, I've been working with Java only. So they're teaching me Java in backend. They're teaching me a lot of stuff in Java. So you have to be flexible in this tech world. You have to build yourself in a way that you can adapt to any technology that comes your way. Okay. You should only know how to learn. So you should know the approach of learning. Now let us discuss about why native or why Flutter. Okay.
experience, you should go for Flutter if you are interested in startups.
Okay. So you guys know about startups, right? It definitely. I mean, you guys know about startups. It's not even a question. I think you should know. So if you want to do your own startup, if you want to be a freelancer, or you want to basically you want to develop applications faster, okay, for multiple platforms, then Flutter is the go-to way. You can either choose Flutter or React Native. So there is this thing known as React Native as well. So these are cross-platform mobile developments. So you can just look for React Native as well. So all the web developers who are here who have worked on React, you can check that out as well. Now, when building an MVP, so MVP is minimal viable product. So this is something you are building which has minimum specifications. So this is quite popular in the startup ecosystem. So it is the first draft of your application. I think MVP is also required in hackathons as well. So if you are going for hackathons, then Flutter will be really powerful and helpful if you are into hackathons or things like that. The third point is when you want to work with one code base. So we discussed about that. You only need single code base and you have to maintain that only. So this is one thing. When you want a flexible UI, so flexible UI
is flexible to any platform.
Okay.
So if I'm see this code is
written using Flutter and it will work on every single platform. So we are creating a flexible UI, right? It is scalable, it is responsive. So this is flexible UI. And when you want a shorter time to market, so this is basically a fast development speed. So you don't need a lot of time developing Flutter applications. You can quickly create MVPs, right? So that is all about Flutter. Now, why native?
work on a very hardware level. So if I want to create an application
which uses Bluetooth or any other Android hardware thing, or the hardware I'm accessing, right? So in that case, native is really helpful. It is really easy to access the hardware from the native technologies. So for stuff like artificial intelligence, AR, VR, in AR, VR, you're required to access the camera, right? And then you have to run some models on it. So for AR, VR, you will definitely choose native technologies and not Flutter.
So this is Internet of Things,
Like
where we need
to
to
do
do
integrations
integrations with
with Bluetooth, GPS, camera.
camera.
So these are all hardware devices. When you need to access the hardware devices, you will always go for native technologies. For location centric apps, so when you have some apps which require location, okay, so it is much easier to access the features of an operating system. So like if I want to access the features of iOS, of an iPhone, it will be much easier to access those features using Swift than Flutter. I'm not saying it is impossible. It is possible, but it is quite difficult using Flutter. Okay. For complex animations or heavy computations, so definitely when you want to do a very complicated animation or a heavy computation, in that case also you will have to choose the native technologies. Okay, so in a nutshell, if I summarize which one you should choose, if you are looking for a job, right, if we talk about the job perspective, then Flutter will
of now.
if
You
you
look up to like big MNCs.
so they'll hire experienced developers for Flutter, so they'll require like 2 to 3 years of experience, and you guys are freshers. So in that case, native is the thing that. But if you want a job in startups, so
They pay
well, you'll learn a lot, right? So don't just go for the hype of Fang, okay? So don't just target those companies. There are a lot of companies out there who pay
TC and their startups.
So
If you want to go for a startup,
just choose Flutter. If you want a job in a MNC, a big company, then you should choose the native company. So this is the perspective if you want to see it from a job point of view, right? And if you want to just explore, I think then you should do both. It is always good to learn both technologies. Only then you can compare them, right? So if you work on both, then only you'll know what are the pro and cons of both, right? So that's all about Flutter versus native. Did you guys understand like when you should choose Flutter and when you will? And
any questions up until now? If you have any questions,
you
you can
can ask. No questions? Just let me know if you guys have any questions. Kanchan, do check the chat box and let me know. Okay, I'll be proceeding with the presentation. So this third thing and the fourth thing in the agenda is production apps in Flutter, right? So let us discuss about a few applications that are written in Flutter and are production like applications. So how many of you guys have used Google Pay? Huh? Everyone in India, mostly everyone has used Google Pay, right? So Google Pay is one of the applications that was written using Flutter.
use a
Toolkit,
a framework
by
by
Google,
Google, and they use that
to
to develop
develop Google Pay. Okay, so initially it was written using native technologies only, but later on they shifted to Flutter. And I think there is this case study about Google Pay. If you search it out, you'll find. So this reduced their development time and cost by somewhat around 1.5 times, I guess. So almost 2 times. So half you can say, right? So their code base was reduced by somewhat around 40 to 50%, I think. So it is really powerful, and you guys know Google Pay, right? So you must have an idea of what kind of a UI you can build using Flutter, right? And we have this app by BMW. So BMW also
is this
BMW Connect app. It
is written using Flutter.
Okay.
So BMW also uses Flutter.
And I'll just go to the Flutter website and I'll show you guys that there are a lot of applications in Flutter. So in this Flutter.dev only, this is a very amazing website. You can just go to And here in Showcase, you'll find a lot of case studies. So Flutter apps in productions, right? So if you just scroll down, you'll see there is this BMW. Then we have Google Pay, right? We have NU Bank. So this is a banking applications. And down you'll find a lot of things, right? So Dream 11, see Dream 11 from India. It is also
eBay is written using Flutter.
right.
So there are a lot of applications which were
developed using Flutter. So Toyota. So if you guys know about infotainment systems, so these are infotainment systems, right? So in a car there is this display in the front that is called infotainment systems. So that is also created using Flutter for Toyota. So if you guys know about Toyota cars, so in that they're using Flutter. These are embedded systems. Okay, this comes under embedded systems. There's a lot more, so you can just explore this. So we have Google Classroom as well. In the Corona time, this was used a lot. So this is developed using Flutter, and down there they have given a lot of companies. So these are all the companies that use Flutter. So we have Tencent also here. Okay, so yeah, this is all about the production apps in Flutter. I'll share this link, and you guys can just go and explore this section later on. Okay. What are the prerequisites to learn Flutter? This I'll teach in the this I'll talk about this topic in the roadmap section. Okay, so how you can get started with Flutter, I'll discuss this later on. It will be covered. Don't worry about it. This link is working, right? Yeah, it is working. So you can save this link in Notepad or someplace, and then you can later on visit this website and view what exactly Flutter does. Okay. So I think now we are to the roadmap section only. So this will answer your question. Who asked the question? Subhan, is it right? Yeah, Subhan. So this will answer your question. So all you need to learn for Flutter, okay? The thing which I'll share personally is first you have to learn this programming language known as Dart. Okay. After that, you'll go to Flutter. So this is the language which is used to develop Flutter applications. This is the framework. So you'll learn how to build applications over here. And then you'll just have to work with projects. So in a nutshell, this is what you have to do. Okay. To keep it very simple, this is all what you need. First, just complete Dart. It will take hardly 2 days. Like you can complete it in 1 day as well. So first you have to work upon Dart. Then you have to start with Flutter. You have to create some applications, and then just have to directly hop on to projects. Okay, join hackathons, create projects, look for use cases. So if you have some problem around you, if you want to like track your progress daily, like some to-do list or something like that, just make your own app, right? So you can do that. So this is all you need for a roadmap, right? Now for a detailed thing, I'll just share this Notion link. Just wait. Okay. Can someone open this link and confirm if the site is visible? Okay, okay. So in this site, it is basically a Notion link. So herein I have shared. So okay, so the flutter.dev link is also over here. You don't need to save it. So herein I have shared a few resources which you need to learn Flutter. Okay. So first you need to start up with Dart, and I've shared this particular YouTube link, and it is quite good. Personally, I've studied Flutter from this only, and it is quite good. So you can learn Dart from there, and
this particular video.
this
This
is
is a video by Free Code Camp.
so
You can go over here and study
Flutter from here. And in additional resources, I've given this roadmap. So like if you are really serious to become a Flutter developer, then you have to follow this particular roadmap. So in this is a very roadmap.sh. So in here you can find other roadmaps as well. So we have front end, back end, DevOps, everything. It consists of a lot of technologies. So if you're interested, you can just go in here. Like if I want to learn Java, so it will give a complete roadmap. And the good thing about it is that it has these little descriptions and video links also. So you can it is really cool. So if you want to start with something, you can just go in here and check out. Okay. So Flutter also, it has given a quite good roadmap. Okay, so if you complete this, you'll become a very good Flutter developer. Okay, and apart from these, you have to do projects as well. So projects is the only thing you need to do if you want to excel in this world of development. Okay, only watching videos and only completing a roadmap will not help. You need to work on projects. You need to work with people. Okay, so that is all you need to learn Flutter. And talking about the prerequisites, so as such, you don't need any kind of prerequisites. Okay, you don't need to know anything, and you just have to get started with Dart. So it is a basic programming language, like you learn C++, right? In your college also, they're teaching C++ or Python. So it is just like that. You have to learn this particular language. After that, you have to go on Flutter, and you have to learn how things work with Flutter, and then you just have to create projects, participate in hackathons, and do that kinds of stuff. Okay, in additional resources, roadmap is given, and this particular YouTube channel is given. So this is the Flutter's official YouTube channel. So uh, videos are very interesting. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe and do that. Okay, so they upload regularly, and like till date I watch these videos and I learn something new every day. So you cannot complete a technology 100% ever, right? So it is always good to keep your eyes and ears open. So you can just go ahead and watch these videos as well. They have particular playlists for. Okay, I'll share my college journey, but before that, I'll answer Tarun's question. So, what are some industrial practices? So, what exactly do you mean? Like, there are a lot of things which happen in the industry, right? So, there are a lot of practices like how you code, how your code is reviewed, and you have this entire management, how it works. So, which particular practice are you talking about? Like, can I get a little bit more hint about that? There's one by Samriddhi. Okay, how late is too late to start studying for getting late? Okay, so see, I personally started data structures in my sixth semester. Okay, so I did not start DSA until I was in sixth semester. So I'm not giving you hopes that don't start coding. Okay, uh, like the earlier you start, the better you will get. So that is the thing. And only coding is not important. So it is I'll share my experience for the interviews. Okay, if you are going for interviews and if you are going for a good company, your brain is not what they're assessing. There are a lot of things. Okay, so they'll see how you interact. Okay, they'll check your communication skills. So you need to work upon your communication skills as well. What even is the point of knowing everything when you cannot even express yourself? So a person with medium knowledge, so a person who is mid in tech, and he is a very great speaker. Okay, so he'll get the job for sure, rather than the person who is like shy and he is not properly communicating. So we guys, I personally also was very nervous in my interview, but if you conquer that fear and if you're confident enough and you just go in there, you explain what you know, and then one more thing is just say no to the questions you don't know. Okay, so don't try to give wrong answers. This is a very big misconception that people try to answer the questions they don't even know. So that gives a wrong impression of yours, of your personality. Okay, So just say no if you don't know anything. And that's what I did in my final interview. He asked me a question regarding operating system, and I just said no because I never studied operating system. So I was more about development. Throughout my BTech, I've worked with Flutter and other I worked with the real world projects. I have not given a lot of focus on academics and DSA. I've worked with a lot of projects. So I went to a lot of hackathons. I did the startup of my own, which failed miserably. So we were not able to market the project. And that's a totally different story. But talking about interviews, be confident, and you should be able to communicate properly. That's the main thing. What was the other question? What are some industrial practices? Right. Okay. So you need to put in comments. So that is the thing. We don't put comments when we write code in our college, but comments are appreciated in the tech world. And there is a way to write code. So I don't know if you guys know about the design patterns. So there is this thing known as design patterns. So it is how you structure your code. Okay. So if you're writing a very small program, so let me just talk about design patterns for a while. So we don't have a lot of introduction to Flutter, so I'll just talk about design patterns. Okay. So let us say you are developing an app. Okay. In your college, if you're writing some code, it is hardly how much, 100 lines or maybe 300 lines max, right? But when you're working in the industry, the code will be very big. It can have 1.5 million lines. So this is a lot, right? Now if you're writing such a big application, so you follow a particular way of coding. If you don't, everything is gonna be very messy, everything will be wrapped up, and it will all be very confusing. If some new person comes in and he watches this, he'll be totally confused, he'll be out of his mind, like what even is this. Even you will forget what you have done, right? So there is this practices which we follow. So we have design patterns. So this is something we follow, and it is a way of structuring your code, it is a way of writing code. So if you learn Flutter, okay, if I go Flutter specific, so if you are learning Flutter, there is this MVVM design pattern. We have the block pattern, okay, block and qubit, and there are a lot of other design patterns as well. But these two are the most popular ones. So block is more popular, and there is this MVVM. This is also very cool. This is also amazing. So if you're learning Flutter, start with Dart and then go to Flutter. After completing your videos or the lectures on Flutter, start creating applications. Okay. So create 10 to 15 applications. These
Without any structured code, right? So once you do this, then start learning about
design patterns in Flutter. So you can learn about the block pattern, or you can learn about the MVVM pattern. Then you will realize that how bad of a code you were writing over here. Okay. So now your code quality will improve. You'll understand what design patterns are. Okay. This is also this same goes for web development as well. So currently I'm learning Angular. Okay. And I know a bit of React as well. So in Angular, in React, in everything, like even if you're going for backend, right? So if you're working with Node applications, or you're working, so I'm currently working with Java, right? So the Java backend is Spring. There is this technology known as Spring. So in any technology you work with, you have to follow a particular design pattern. So I'll suggest that you guys learn about design patterns in your college only. So it will give you a great boost in your industry. Okay. So people will be really amazed to see that freshers know about design patterns. This is something they expect from experienced people. But when you guys will put this up, it will be really impressive. Okay. So yeah, that is all about design patterns. If you guys are interested, reach me out. You can reach me out on LinkedIn. You can reach me out on Discord as well. I am not very active on Discord as of now, but you can message me. I'll get a notification and I'll reply. Okay. So I'll share how you can learn the design patterns. So that is about it.